Hello everyone! Today I wanted to talk about the recently added new convenience, microtransactions and their effect, on Presearing mostly, because that's what I play. As always, when it comes to topics that might be controversial, I would like to kindly ask you to watch till the end before commenting, and with that, let's begin. So, in the August 26, 2026 update to Guild Wars, a new NPC was added to some major cities, Presearing Ascalon included, that looks like an undead ghost, which looks very out of place for an alive human city of Ascalon, called the Purveyor. In Presearing, the Purveyor sells a regular identification kit and a 25 use regular salvage kit, both for 100 gold, and with the salvage kit being 25 uses, that is more than previously buyable at the merchants. Previously we could only buy 10 use salvage kits in pre, but since this is buyable with gold and it's just more uses of the same thing, that's the type of QL convenience that I would love to see. My issues start with the other dialogue options he offers, namely the Infinite Identification and Salvage Kit bundle, the Purveyor Bell, and the associated Reforged Coin Exchange. So, what are those? If you ask him about the kit bundle, he will say, "If you wish to deal with me, you will need more than mortal gold," which, wow, way to be on the nose about it. You can buy the Infinite Identification and Salvage Kit bundle from the Guild Wars store for $9.99, for $10. This lets you claim an ID kit and a salvage kit from him, both with infinite uses. Now, I don't really have a big issue with the ID kit. I still personally wouldn't like to see stuff like that in the game, being able to buy items to use. But if you'd rather pay real money once so you don't have to remember to buy the ID kits in the town, I don't care. The Infinite Salvage Kit, on the other hand, is not just a basic salvage kit with infinite uses, it's an expert salvage kit with infinite uses. And the difference between those two is that the expert salvage kit allows you to obtain rare materials and, most importantly, upgrade components, which was previously only doable with a char kit in Presearing. Char salvage kits are rare drops that only come from char bosses, and they only have 5 uses, so to salvage runes, insignia or weapon upgrade components in Presearing, you either had to farm one yourself or buy one from other players, and they were scarce, so they were expensive. They were a big reward for doing the content, and it always felt really good to get one, even after years of playing, because you always had something you were looking forward to salvaging, some runes, insignia or a good mod, or you were just looking to sell one for a big payout. And as soon as the update came out, char kits are now essentially worthless, and I'm not only talking about the in-game economy price. There is no more excitement, no more good feeling of getting a cool drop. If you ask around in town for a bit, someone will salvage whatever you want because they have an infinite salvage kit. Something that was designed to be a fun reward, designed to be limited, something that kept its excitement and kept its price over the years. Hell, it even rose in price because new players came to check out the dungeon and everyone wanted to rune up their Devona. Something that was designed to run out so you're looking forward to getting the next kit is now replaced by a swipe of the credit card. In post you can buy expert kits from merchants for gold, so over there it's the same story just like with the Infinite ID kit. You're paying for a little bit of convenience. But for Presearing, since we can only get the char kits as a drop, I feel like it should have been considered and the access to infinite kits limited to post characters only. And I don't think it's too late, so 2 weeks? Please consider doing that. Another thing offered by the Purveyor is the Purveyor's Bell, which you can buy in the store for $6.99. And after buying it, you can use the bell to summon a merchant anywhere outside of outposts. With the intention, of course, being able to sell loot if you're running out of space, and also buying keys or lockpicks if you forgot to buy one, because he sells those too. More importantly than those services though, which I don't think are that much of a problem, again, I still personally would prefer to play a game without those in the cash shop, but I don't think they're that big of a deal. More importantly than those services though, is buying the bell also grants you the ability to claim one reforged coin from the Purveyor every day, and those can be directly traded for consumables. You can either get empowering feasts, heroes trifectas, or a mix of both, and both of these consumables grant you buffs that were previously unobtainable in Presearing. So what do? The empowering feast grants you the effect of a birthday cupcake, a candy apple, a golden egg, candy corn, and a pumpkin pie all at once, all of which were previously obtainable in Presearing during events, but you had to, you know, obtain them as drops. And they were cool drops to get, which made playing during events especially fun. But it also grants the effect of war supplies, something we never had in Presearing before, which is +5 armor and +1 health regeneration. And with the Vanguard Initiate not being active in the Forsaken Tunnels and everyone scrambling to get even a few more points of armor, +5 is nothing to scoff at, especially packaged with all the other buffs at the same time. The Hero's Trifecta, though, grants you the effect of a Grail of Might, which is a bonus to health, energy, and all attributes, an Armor of Salvation, which is 50% immunity to critical strikes, 10 armor, +1 health regeneration, and a flat 5 damage reduction, and an Essence of Celerity, which is 20% movement speed, 20% attack speed, 20% faster cast speed, and a 20% recharge time reduction. All at the same time, and all previously unobtainable in Presearing. And to me, this is just straight up pay to win. You can get all of these items and bonuses in post, you're just cutting out the time farming and crafting required to get them, so a good chunk of gameplay, and don't get me wrong, contrary to the previous example of the Infinite Kits, I think this will have horrible consequences for post too, but for Presearing, it's on a whole another level. But let's focus on the whole game for a while. I would like for all of us to agree that paying money to get items that give you power is pay to win. There's a lot of discussion happening about this right now, on Reddit, on Discords, I'm sure in other places too, and some people will claim that this is not pay to win because there is no winning against other players in PvE. That is absolutely incorrect, and I think deep down they know this, they are just arguing semantics. Pay to win is a 3-word phrase, so of course it's open to misinterpretation, but we all know what winning constitutes. Doing challenging content faster, easier, or suddenly being able to clear it at all just because your character is now a lot more powerful, because you paid for that power, is pay to win. Some other people will claim that adding this is a good thing actually because it hurts botters. And that is partly true because, yes, I imagine it hurts botters who farm mats for consumables a lot to see a chunk of the player base get their consumes from other sources. But it's like that scene from SpongeBob. We did it, Patrick, we saved the city. The botters are hurt. All it took is just making our game slightly worse. Now that the botters don't make good profits from farming mats anymore, they will just move to farming something else, and what then? Are we going to sell that thing in the store next? In a game like Guild Wars, where everything can be farmed and traded, you would have to eventually put everything in the cash shop to remove all the incentive for botting. And I don't want to play a game like that, and I assume you don't either. I think instead of that, I would love to see some actual work being put into banning more bots. Even if you can't ban every single bot, there is a lot more that can be done than the current situation where the machines run wild. Other people will mention that the game is in active development now, and the devs can't develop it for free, which is of course true, and a good point. I still feel like there are other avenues they could have taken instead of straight up making consumables purchasable, but at this point it's a pick your poison scenario, with every option having upsides and downsides. They could go back to making campaigns or expansion packs, so you would very clearly pay for content, but that would mean we get updates much less often. They could focus on more cosmetic options, but in a game like Fashion Wars, that would upset many people as well. Fashion is the true endgame of Guild Wars for some, after all, and if the coolest looking armor came from the store, then that detracts from their experience too. Also, Guild Wars was already selling cosmetics for a long time, maybe the revenue from that was simply too small to continue development. They could introduce a subscription for Reforged mode content, saying, hey, you can play all the old Guild Wars content you know and love just like you used to, but if you want us to develop new stuff, then we need to pay our developers, so how about a subscription for the access to the new content only? But I'm sure that would annoy many people as well, and I can't blame them. When it comes to money, I don't think there is a good solution that works for everyone. I personally prefer the expansion model or a subscription model over microtransactions, but as I said, everyone will prefer a different option. pick your poison. Back to the matter at hand though. Right now, in the game, you can get some consumables every day by paying once. In post, you already could get those items, all you're skipping is farming for the mats and crafting, and if you're the type of player that doesn't have much time, I can understand why it's appealing. I personally think being able to get stuff that actively affects your performance in a game from a cash shop undermines the whole game, but of course I get why it's enticing. Who cares, right? It's just a few consumables. Work today has been rough and I don't wanna log in to farm. I just want to hop for a quick dungeon run. I could buy those in Kamadan anyway, but I have this reforged coin, so let me quickly cash it in for some consumes and I'm good to go. Not that big of a deal in a vacuum, one might say. But what if they start introducing more stuff through the reforged coins? Where do we draw the line? Is it buffs you couldn't get in the game otherwise? Or buffs that only certain professions can use? What about an item that casts, I don't know, heroic refrain on the entire party? I mean, everyone can have the same effect without paying, just bring a paragon along. But okay, let's not consider any hypotheticals, let's just focus on what's already in the game. I don't think anything that affects player power should be in the cash shop, period. But of course, it's slightly less egregious if you can get it through other means. So, on that note, right now, in Presearing, the effects of the consumables from the reforged coins cannot be obtained in any other way. Paying, or being in a party with someone that paid for them, is the only way to gain that power. Yes, I guess it's fun for a bit to absolutely trivialize the content and just blast through it, but if you liked grouping up for the dungeon, then over time likely you will see less groups as a result of this change, because with all that extra power, people will just start soloing the dungeon or duoing it with their Devona. If they can solo the dungeon easier now, some of them will, and you absolutely can. And don't get me wrong, not everyone will, but getting groups will most likely take longer now, and nobody likes waiting for a group to form. If you're one of the people that think, well, this doesn't affect others, if they don't like it, they should just not buy it, then there you go. That's one of the ways it will start affecting everyone. I think that at the very least this functionality should not have been available in Presearing. In my ideal world, if I was John Guild Wars, I would remove it from the cash shop entirely, but at the very least, if those items need to be buyable, then they should be limited to post only, I think, where you can get the same buffs without having to pay. And the same thing with the infinite salvage kit. But there is one saving grace of this whole thing: the microtransaction stuff, both the kits and the consumables, are not available to Melandru characters. And to whoever at 2 weeks who made that decision, thank you for that. Thank you for leaving one avenue of experiencing the game without the microtransaction bullshit. They didn't have to do that. I would even argue Melandru characters would have even more incentive to spend the money and skip the grind, but they chose to restrict it, and I think that's great. I only play a Melandru character nowadays, so this whole thing doesn't really affect me. I can just plug my ears to the whole noise, ignore the ghost dude in Ascalon, and continue playing as I did, and I could just not make this video at all. But I do care about Presearing, and I think this is detrimental to it, so even if it doesn't affect me that much directly, I wanted to talk about it. 2 weeks, if anyone over there sees this video, please consider removing the infinite salvage kit and the reforged coin consumables from Presearing. Okay, so that was that. There are 2 more videos made about this topic already from 2 great creators that I wanted to shout out, Spare and Hamel. They talk about some of the aspects of this whole ordeal that I didn't touch on, such as the coins being a login reward, or how, at least for now, the Bell Summon can be used as a tank for content. And even if you're not interested in hearing about this specific topic anymore, and I wouldn't blame you, they have other good videos about Guild Wars, so I would recommend checking them out anyway. Microtransactions aside, and on a brighter note, the update also contains some skill balancing, and at least the Presearing skill changes are really good. Buffs to monks, warriors, and curse spells for necros are all very much welcome, especially the change to frenzy is really strong. Get it? Because it became a strength skill, which also made strength a really good attribute now in Pre. We even saw some warriors trying out a max strength build with good success. It's really interesting to watch. And speaking of watching, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, hope you'll have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.